Listen.
What?
You put record?
I think it's recording.
My lymphatic drainage, if you guys don't know. Oh, okay.
It's like a guitar pick.
It does, right? It's just for your face, though.
Thanks, man. Every fucking weekend it's something new with you.
You know what, man? I'm trying to look not my age when I turn 30.
I know, you're jealous, right?
That you look the same as you did back in 2017.
Yeah.
Must be nice, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't know if you know, but this is some knowledge I have.
What?
But we have drains on our faces.
There's a drain in the basement, too.
It is, but I have it all for filming purposes. But all drained, you see? It's supposed to make you look... Just be what you want, man. It's fine. Hey! Try to look good.
Like,
Oh, we're
free.
filming? Is this on?
It's been on. I think
All
we're
right.
at episode 6.
God, you know, I don't even count the episodes anymore, but I think it's episode 6 or 7. Could be 6, could be 7, could be 8.
Because we're not good at posting on time, that's why.
It's okay, though. We got some new tidbits to talk about today. All right, let me stop this.
Whenever you're done, yeah. Let me...
All right, let me just take that out. What was that? My scotch?
Yeah. Stop drinking. I got coffee in front of you, too.
All right, yeah, put that in front of me, please. Frame it. Frame it.
All right,
frame
so we went to a local place by us today. It was called Fresh and Grind.
Not the Fresh Grocer, no. It's called the Fine Grind.
Oh.
In, I believe it was Little Falls, not Ferry, because we both got confused with that.
They're kind of confusing.
They are. Both start with Little. Both next name starts with an F.
They're not by each other.
Anybody could get it wrong, so I don't take offense to that.
Episode 6.
6. My brush. Okay. Put it in my pocket.
Last time you threw it on the ground.
I did, and I washed it after.
Did you regret it?
No, I feel fine. Okay. Alrighty, so episode 6. How has your week been, man?
It's been busy. It's been eventful. Not the best. What about you?
So far, so it jumped by really quick.
Mm.
I feel like, I don't even know where to begin, but 2 nights ago, I told you a little bit about what happened to me. I almost died.
Yeah, Justin has a tripping story.
So, I'm a very big advocate for melatonin gummies, so I've been trying to wean off of melatonin gummies. And normally I pop, and people are going to make fun of me for saying this, I normally pop like 25 milligrams, 30 maximum. Because apparently I read online that if you pop more than 30 milligrams, you could like have a seizure. So I've been like trying to wean off of it. Puts me in deep REM. I'm like in the deep dimensions.
So is that like 1 pill or 2 pills of
So
melatonin?
I have, it depends. So if you get, I get the natural gummies specifically. So if you get there's one brand that you could buy. It's like 5 milligrams per gummy, which is like 1. It's 5 milligrams, but you can take up to 2, which equates to 10 milligrams. So I take 4 or 5 of those pills.
Oh, okay. So you take like a handful. Of
Gummies, not pills, but yeah, take a handful.
Okay.
So I'm trying to wean off of them, right?
Good.
So this a friend of mine, she gives me this, some of her like edibles, right?
Sounds safe.
I always hear it. You were taking some of them at one point too for sleeping,
It was
right?
a gift, yeah.
It was a gift.
I gave one to my mom. What's that one that just opened up on 17? As something?
Asgard.
Yeah, sure. It's next to the David Sprout place in
I love it there. Yeah, we got our wedding.
Burger King.
We got our wedding stuff there.
Yes, we
Good
said
times.
yes to the dress.
We say yes to the That's a good one.
It's right over there, but I got THC gummies. I don't know what the milligrams were, what it was, but they recommended only have like half of one if you're trying it out first, or have a full one.
So I think I had enough to equate to I think 1 or a little bit more than 1 gummy. And I thought, like I said, I could pop like 4 or 5 melatonin gummies, not thinking that, I'm going to be fine. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking my life was over. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going to faint. I kept getting the sweats. I thought a pile of clothes in my room that was on my my chair, I thought it was a demon. I see this thing coming at me. I'm hallucinating. I'm trying to go to the bathroom to throw it up because I'm like, I don't know what's in my system. My skin's crawling. I had a very, very bad reaction to it, and never again will I ever try any edibles.
And it lasted how long?
It lasted 4 hours, and then I woke up the next day still feeling the aftermath of it. So today, it was 2 days ago, it was Friday night.
Yeah.
I still feel to this day coming down from it. I feel less shaky, but yesterday I was shaky because I went MIA yesterday, like you said.
We were supposed to go by our friend's house at about like 6:30 or something, and like Justin didn't respond. I thought that you texted her individually saying that you were on your way. Justin didn't respond at all. And at 6:45, he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower." I was just like, "Oh, what happened?" Like at first, I was just like, did he sleep all day or something?"
So I woke up at 2:00, which anyone who knows me, I feel like I get FOMO when I miss days. And I woke up at 2:00.
You wake up early, like me.
I wake up super early.
You wake up like 8 or 9, yeah.
And my whole day was gone. I woke up at 2:00. I showered. I got something in my system, and then I knocked back out. I thought I had my phone alarm set for like at least like 5:00 to get ready for it to be by you guys.
Yeah.
And I slept right through it, and I literally felt like a zombie.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I still feel like a zombie today, but I feel a little bit more alert. I had no coffee yesterday. I remember it now because I had no coffee because I kept sleeping. I had no water. I had nothing. But never again will I ever take that in my life. I don't want it. I don't
You
want
really
it.
have to get the bottle back and read it or something.
It opened up a realm, Nick, where I think there's like, it really opened up a realm.
It was like Doctor Strange.
Nick,
like it was...
I felt like I was out of body, and I kept hearing voices. I kept hearing things come at me in all different angles. I thought the freaking pile of clothes that were in the near distance were attacking me. I'm not even kidding you. I was scared. I thought I died. I thought I OD'd. I thought something happened to me. I don't know. I thought I was dying. I was nuts. I'm nuts.
Can you compare it, because I know all of your bad experiences with these things, can you compare it to Queens? Can you compare it to
that? It was
that?
worse than that.
It was worse than
because
that.
I eventually came down from Queens that time. I didn't come down. It's 3 days. I'm still feeling the effects of this.
All right.
That was fine. I would take Queens over that any day. That any day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to say the story, actually? Because it is a pretty good story.
It's a funny story.
How many years ago was this now? I think we were 15, 16?
We were at that age. Yeah,
okay, so
we were staying out
10 years ago.
So we went to a friend's house to stay overnight in Queens, New York.
It wasn't safe.
And it was not safe one bit. And, me and Nick looking back at it, we're like, wow, we did a lot for our age back then. But we hung out, we hung out with these people. And basically, overnight, we got an edible, whatever the case was. It was like,
but I was straight edge at this time, too.
Nick didn't pick up a single bit of alcohol, this man. Okay? Me,
no cigarettes, no alcohol, no, I don't even think vapes were a thing back then or something like that. Maybe like Juuls and stuff.
Juuls, cigarettes were a thing. I think I probably...
Nothing to do with any of those. No smoking weed and everything. I was very, very straight edge. I was like, no. And I'll put a picture of my dyed hair. So the only chemicals I put on me were bleach on my head.
Yeah.
But besides...
It seeped right in there. That was the time to be alive. The mall rat days, if you were a time to be alive, okay?
I think there was a lot of us there. That girl's apartment and everything. And you were given weed through a third party that you had no idea who they were.
I was just a wee boy trying to... You didn't take any, which was good for you.
No, thank God.
I had a very bad experience with this. I remember all I remember I could tell you, from what I experienced Friday night, this past Friday with the edibles, versus that, I would take that over the edibles.
That bad.
Nick, at least I knew that my jaw wasn't actually detached from my mouth. Okay, so back in the Queens episode, I had a very bad reaction to whatever it was, and I thought I lost my jaw. Like, my actual jaw was on the ground. I was trying to find it. Everyone's laughing at me. Everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. And then one of our other friends, freaking, I'm sleeping. I'm finally coming out of it. I hear everything's echoing out of my ears. You're, doom, doom, doom. Police, open up. I start crying. I start hysterically crying.
He runs up to me, hysterically crying.
They're going to take me away. Nick's like, no, they're joking with you. I'm like, they're going to take me away.
It was mean to do that.
It was very mean to do that to a wee
yeah.
boy experiencing this for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I remember the next morning we went to like a diner or something in the city.
Yeah.
And I was fine. But this experience, I literally did the edibles though this past time for sleeping purposes. I thought it was going to help me sleep. And it did the exact opposite.
And to carbon date that story too as well. When this was happening too, we had a bootleg copy of The Interview with James Franco and Seth Rogen, and you were watching that. So I had a girl with me that time. We were on the couch and everything. And one time I just walked up because I'm like, oh, I gotta go check on Justin. There's something going on with him. Let me go check on him. And you're in the room. It's a few people in the bed. They're just like watching it and everything. Justin is in a fetal position at the end of the bed, just like this. Eyes still wide open, just like staring, and like the tanks are going off in the back because in the movie there's a lot of like tanks and everything, and Justin's just like this in the corner.
I thought I was in World War III. I really thought that I was in this World War from like the illusion. It was bad. It was a very bad experience. If I knew that was going to happen to me this past time of taking it, I would have never taken it.
And you woke me up. You woke me up in the middle of the night too.
I did. Yeah, I was scared.
Yeah. Well, no. Who did you think I was with? you thought you saw somebody else. You don't have to say who it is, but you.
Oh my god! Wait, yes, I thought you were with like an ex-girlfriend of mine.
Yes.
No. So we were there, and the girl that we're not going to name her, but Nick was with her, and we were all hanging out in this room, and I saw the girl that it was like back in like sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
If you're hearing this, you know who you are.
Let's call her Amanda.
Let's just call Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
We're gonna call
keep
her.
the train going because all I heard was Amanda. Amanda?
Nick, you bought her?
Yeah.
And Nick's like, what are you talking
said,
about?
"Are you
I'm like,
okay?"
I'm, you know what? If we're talking about experiences, let's talk about the experience. That was like 2015, 2016.
Yeah,
this next
probably.
one is 2017 Memorial Day weekend. Let's talk about Memorial Day weekend in 2017. Another group of friends we went with, completely separate. It was like season 4 cast.
Well, this really affected me.
Yeah,
That's why.
because I learned, I took my experience from what we were just talking about, and I brought it with me to Memorial Day weekend. You wanted to be a go-getter.
I want to try it.
You wanted to be daring, and you took. So Nick doesn't like chocolate, so they brought these special brownies with them.
The special brownies.
And Mr. Nicholas decides to, not knowing the full length of what that could do to you, even Justin, I know, okay? You took more than half the brownie, and you were taking edibles, and you were taking the hits of like the special pen or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
This man, you literally at one point, you were like in the corner like, Justin, I feel nothing. I look back around, Nick's like in the corner like.
I actually was mannequin-like. I was like.
He's like, I can't feel my body. I can't feel what's happening to me. I'm like, oh, Nick, enjoy
you know what
your
I remember
trip.
it was?
Enjoy your trip.
I was texting my dad at one point, and I was texting him and everything, and all of a sudden, letters were flying at me.
That was
and
before the iOS update when you could do that.
It was beforehand.
I remember.
I was texting, and the letters were flying at me, and I was like,
yes,
this back and forth, and that's when I got mannequin-like, and I was
wild experience. Okay, I felt bad for you because you were in the corner and they were throwing pop rocks at Nick.
Yeah.
Nick thought he was in like Nick thought he was in Vietnam.
Every pop rock that was going off, I thought it was a big explosion happening around me. Yeah. And they threw it, and I jumped behind a bed, and I was hiding behind it, and I was like shaking. Yeah, but same thing. I woke up with like really bad cotton mouth and everything. I woke up like I felt like I came down from a different planet. I was like, wow, this is bad.
Never again. But I remember that was a funny story because Nick, straight edge. His tolerance probably at the time wasn't even like remotely close, and you freaking take more than half of a brownie, and then you're still doing all that in between.
I still don't remember anything.
Nick, you were like literally you were paranoid. You were running across like behind these pillows. You were like, "Help me!" Like you're like throwing all these different verbiages out. It was weird.
That weekend, something else affected you, but it wasn't weed wise.
What affected me?
Remember, you were like really, really deep into being keto.
Oh, yes. So 2017 was like
the
first. Okay, you reminded me. It was like the first year I was like on my weight loss journey, and I wasn't having any cheat days, ladies and gentlemen.
You were so strict.
I was for a year and a half. I had no cheat meals on keto when I first lost my first 80 pounds. In that transitional period, I was so strict. So that weekend, Memorial Day weekend, you got hot dogs, you got burger buns, you got candy, you got this and that, drunk, alcoholic, foods and stuff like that. I had none of that, but I did not cheat on my diet once. Like, I was in the bathroom for 4 hours. So Nick always tells, I don't remember this too much, but you always say the story. What do you say? I was in the bathroom.
Did you have like cake or like cupcakes or something like that? Like a cookie or something?
I don't think you had a lot of cheated.
I don't know. I don't think you had a lot of stuff. I think I remember someone brought cookies. I think you had a few of them.
Oh,
and all of a sudden, he disappears for like 6 hours. I have no idea where you go and everything.
I was probably in the
You were in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, like 6 hours later, he stumbles out, and you were wearing, I'll never forget this, you were wearing just a white t-shirt and like the cargo pants. The white t-shirt was tucked all the way into the pants, and he walks out like, and he's like holding the side of the wall, and he's like, like I was like, are you okay? Are you sick? You have like food poisoning or something? And he's like, no, it's I had cupcakes. I had like a cookie or something like that.
I probably spiked my insulin because when you go that long time without sugar, man, and you let it. Not only do you let it in your system for the first time, but like you let it in your system while you're like have a lot of other things going on in your system. And remember that time in between? I was in there for about 6 hours. I think you said.
Yeah, literally.
And I remember what I do remember is I look at you guys and like the whole room was like. It was like a Michael Bay film. Like it was it kept going and going, and then Nick's just like, "Are you okay, man?" And I'm like, "Hey, everyone!" And I dropped to the dropped to the ground.
Yeah, he just hit the ground.
And
I was like,
that was.
I was like, well, we're in the Catskills. I don't think we can call for an
What
ambulance.
a story. What a story. Speaking that we're on story time, and I think that because I know we don't have a lot of topics to discuss today, but I think this is a really good interlude to one of our craziest stories that we've ever really told to people. So we were at this. We're gonna be very careful with how we word this story.
You gotta change names.
We're not gonna even say names, but we were at this. I don't think you know what I'm gonna say.
Probably.
So me and Nick just started driving, and we got invited to our friend's house in a very far away town. We're gonna just put it out there like that. And we go, and we get into this house, and there's a party going on, right? And a bunch of random men are in this house, and we're not even knowing like.
I know this story. Now I know it at first because you said far away, and I was like, okay, that's definitely a cover. But yes, no problem.
So like, we go into this downstairs lounge looking, area, and a bunch of random men are there, and we have no idea. We're all thinking, oh hey, like the person who's hosting this party, it's their party, like it's their friends.
Yeah.
But we realized that there were a lot of men at this party. We didn't really know what was going on, so we're down there, we're chilling. Our friend comes out
Drunk.
Yeah, kind of just like saying, hey guys, X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna go step out for a few. And she leaves us alone in this house full of these guys. And all of a sudden, like, one guy came up to me and you, and I remember having a conversation, and the other was like, oh yeah, like, how do you know so-and-so? And I'm like, oh, we whatever, like, we just know them from knowing them. And as soon as that door closes for our friend who left us in there, all right, all of a sudden, it was like an alarm that went off. All these random guys were like, okay guys, now. They start grabbing things, right?
They raid everything.
They raid the entire place. Me and Nick are just like, oh, they're not friends. What's going on? Like we
music,
were scared.
Like, music cut, no one's drinking anymore and everything.
It was
Everyone's like, go for it. I was like,
okay.
Oh.
So me and Nick, then we go into this girl's bathroom. We lock the door and we hide in the bathroom.
Because that's the type of people we are.
Okay, we hid. Okay, we hear things getting thrown around. Then all of a sudden we hear
18 people.
We hear one guy in the back. Okay, guys, turn the gas on. We're going. I'm like, we're gonna get blown up in the house.
I was like, whoa. I'm fitting through the window.
Okay. So then all of a sudden we start to hear it died outside. It died down. So I'm like, no, we're gonna make a run for it. We're gonna get out the house. We go outside and we see everything's just like completely demolished around us. Okay, these people robbed this person, and then all of a sudden, full circle, we're about to exit. This one guy comes back in who originally spoke to us in the beginning of the night.
Yep.
And I'll never forget it. You and me, we were like, oh, thank God it was a joke.
We thought it was a joke.
Goes, oh, hey guys, what's going on? He grabs a statue, like a horse. It was a horse statue.
Yep, yeah. It was
grabs it, puts it under. He goes, have a great night. And me and Nick are like, and then it was our friend came back, and she was like, guys, what happened to everything? I'm like, please sit down. We have to tell you what just happened.
Yeah.
Who were those people? Did you know them? Did you? No, I met them all on a site, and I met them. And I'm just like, you met them. They were strangers. You left us alone with strangers in your house. I mean, yeah, but it. Never again. One of our many crazy stories that we've ever undergone together.
We weren't gonna stop anybody.
Please.
Wasn't our place.
No. Okay, it could have been, for all we know, a hoax. We could have been going against that.
I did think it was a joke at first.
It literally felt like, it reminded me of Scare Tactics.
Yeah.
Like the show with Tracy Morgan, where it'd be like, are you scared? Yeah, you shouldn't be. Your friend Rachel set you up. I was waiting for someone to come out, with a production crew, and be like, yeah, you guys, you got shit. It was like a literal
I wanted
scam.
John Quinones to come out and say, what would you do? I wanted one of those situations, and I wanted to be a part of it. So that was some good stories. So we tried, plural, tried to get to see The Flash earliest. Didn't work out. We had some connections and some websites that we tried to get on to see it in New York City. I think it was going to be the 6th.
It was going to be the 6th of, it was supposed to be last Tuesday.
Nobody responded to me. Nobody responded to you.
Nope.
We tried.
We
will
did.
Remember this. What we're going to do for the rest of the episode is really just going to have our thoughts and ideas on what we think is going to happen in this Flash movie too. So just like a prelude to why this movie is so important too. This movie was supposed to come out in 2018. And it had so many directors a part of it, dropping off of it and everything. This movie has like a curse around it almost. It's kind of strange, Ezra Miller, everyone's favorite, cast as Barry Allen the Flash, probably 2014 when they were doing Batman vs Superman.
Yep.
So this has been a very, very long journey of almost 10 years.
Yeah, it was 2 years after Man of Steel, and they had that whole panel of Ben Affleck being. Oh, I'll never forget that. That was such a
good time.
Cyborg.
Such a good time.
It was such a
when all the casting was released and everything, like Unite the Seven, I'll put up the poster too, like with Jason Momoa and everybody. Like, it was a really, really good time to be a DC fan because there's so much potential between everything. Now we know what happened. But now, so much is happening with the Flash movie and everything. It's been a really, really long journey, so I'm happy it's finally coming out.
Me too. We've been talking about this for a really long time. Even before, when it came out and they were filming the movie, like last year, when all that stuff came out, or starting to come out at least, a lot of stuff has come out after that. But we've been talking about this so long, and like finally next week when we go see it, it's finally here. You know, it's
Thank
crazy.
God. So I guess we could tackle just overall out what we think is going to happen in the movie, storylines, who's going to be a part of it. We can do maybe some post-credit ideas too.
Yeah.
So
well, that's the thing too. So the original cut that we were going to go see. Now every test screening, every advanced screening. Advanced screening is really the difference between a test screening and an advanced screening is that an advanced screening is just the final cut, but it's given out a little. That's what we're supposed to go see, you and I together. But what they were doing with this movie, which was really interesting, was they cut out the final post-credit scene. Which they normally do for some movies that have an advanced screening, especially something that's going to be huge. But originally, the ending that I heard about, which everyone's talking about now, was it's Barry Allen at the end of the movie talking to somebody. But apparently, in this version, the advanced screening version, it's altered. Like you could tell, like production or like producers went in there and put out some like maybe it was their like own voices to like hide who it may have been.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like Barry Allen, he thinks, I guess he's talking to like Bruce Wayne, I don't know.
His Bruce Wayne,
right?
So,
aka Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
and then he looks over and he goes, "Who the F are you?" And it cuts to black. So that's the I guess the what's gonna happen. He actually says what the F too, apparently people are saying that.
Actually does say that.
But I don't know. They're saying it. What you think is pretty cool too. Give what do you think? What version of Ben Affleck? Not Ben Affleck, but Bruce Wayne.
Well, Affleck's out completely. We know that Affleck is going to be out. He's been very, very vocal. He just doesn't want to continue that. He doesn't even want to direct any type of movies for James Gunn in the future and everything, which makes sense. The guy's done as much as he can with the character. It's been a big roller coaster of the character. I'm thinking at the post-credit scene, it's going to be a brand new Bruce Wayne in the DCU. I think that because at the end of Flashpoint, it's not a different version of Bruce Wayne, but the whole point of the Flashbook series was it was going to be like a hard reboot for the comic series.
Right.
So it was going to end basically everything from like, oh my God, like the 30s all the way up until like 2010 and just start from scratch again. So everybody was younger. They had different type of costumes and everything, which I'll put up pictures and stuff. Superman looked a little different too. Everyone had like same origin story, but all of their DC history was compacted into 5 years and they were younger. So Bruce Wayne was no older than like 35 probably.
Oh, wow.
But he had all of the Robins. So like Nightwing was active and everybody was around. Superman was the same. The Justice League was established. So they wanted to have a new kicking off point so everybody can be a part of reading DC comics and they don't have to catch up.
Wow.
That's what they did. So I think that's what they're doing in this movie where they're just going to reboot everything. But in the comic, Flash never had like, who are you?
I know. He never had that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I think, what was it, in the comics, wasn't it like his mind was also like now like, not erased, but it was...
He had memories of the previous
timeline.
And he knew that things will be different, but he has memories of his timeline with his mother and everything. And so it's not going to be like a straight adaptation, because even the director came out and said that. It's not an adaptation of Flashpoint. It kind of is.
It's like tidbits. They throw in little Easter eggs, but the movie itself is not a Flashpoint movie. It's like a mock scenario of, what if Superman was not here? And it was Zod. So it's like basically, do you think he travels back? This is where we're gonna get into a little bit. I think
the story, really, yeah. Like we got to talk about that.
Does he travel back in time to 2013 when Man of Steel was happening, but it just no Superman?
I think so. I think that's what he does. So I think he travels back in time, tries to go back in time to save his mother. He doesn't succeed with that. Maybe he goes to a different branch reality, because that Barry Allen is a younger version of him. The one with the longer hair
right,
and stuff.
Yeah, he plays two different versions of him in the movie.
Yeah, and he's clearly a younger version of him, but the year would be like 2013, and he's traveling from 2023 probably.
Right.
So he's going back in time, and I think it's just like a branch reality. But the only thing that's strange too is it's Michael Keaton's Batman in that timeline.
Yeah.
So is that just like an altered reality, different Earth?
Or like did he somehow take from the Tim Burton timeline and like mesh it together.
Maybe because you saw the clip of the younger version of Barry Allen, like he rips the cover off the Batmobile, and he's like, I used to see this thing on the news when I was a kid. So it's weird.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I get it. So it's like that version because Ben Affleck's Batman did not have that version. It was a different. It'd be really interesting to see how that unfolds. I think it's something. This is my theory because I'm nitpicking at the specifics. I feel as if he goes back in time. Right, he discovers that he has an ability to kind of go back in time and like look at things from a different perspective. I feel like it has something to do possibly with his mother. Like maybe he accidentally like knocked over something, or he created a whole different altered reality off of that, specifically with the mother.
That could. It
could be. I'm just thinking about because there's a lot of I'm going off the trailer shots. There's trailer shots of like him like remember the scene with like, the mother and he's like. And he touches her, and he's like, oh, he like freaks out.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like an interesting idea too, because they're going through the younger version of him.
I know.
And even a younger version of him too, where he sees his mom murdered.
Yes.
And in the comics, that is supposed to be like Reverse Flash.
Right.
But
correct me.
The villain too, like remember the marketing for the movie too, and some of the toys and everything.
There's
There's this Dark Flash.
Yes.
Or something like that. He looks like he has like tar over him or something like that. Like it looks weird. Like I don't know if that's like a different version of a Flash because there's really no villain in any of the trailers besides Zod. Zod is like he's a villain, but it is what it is. It's in a different timeline and stuff, and they have to stop him.
I feel as if possibly he may be his own villain. Like he may turn out to be like. Think about it. Everything's going to reset after this movie. So what if he was the ultimate antagonist all along?
That's a good point. Honestly.
It could be
which is way better than having just like a generic villain, honestly, and doing something like that. It's a better idea.
He's his own villain, and I'm not even talking about Reverse Flash. I'm just talking about like maybe Barry Allen becomes his own villain because he destroys something. Because think about it, there are scenes in the trailer where he's talking to Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, and he goes, and then he goes to him and says, "You're gonna destroy everything."
Yeah, he warns him. He says, don't do that.
It could very well be a situation where, like, he doesn't listen. He goes, Bruce, I could help, save your family. I could help save my family. And he destroys the whole entire freaking timeline.
It could. Okay, so that's, like, a general idea of, like, what we think the story is and everything. They definitely changed the endings, too, because originally when this happened, they were going to make Michael Keaton the brand new Batman of the DCEU at the time, before James Gunn took over, and Supergirl, I don't know her, I think her name is Sasha. The actress named Sasha, and she was going to be the Superman of that new timeline. I have no idea what they were thinking. That is not a smart idea. I'm really happy that didn't work out that way too. I love Michael Keaton. I hear she's getting a lot of praise in the movie. They say that she is really, really fantastic in the movie. That's awesome. It's just not the Justice League I want. It is not. I want like a textbook Justice League. I want the Clark Kent Superman, I want Bruce Wayne Batman, I want them all in their prime. That would be really, really cool to see. It was like a detached, weird thing when they were doing. So they definitely did some reshoots, for sure. Probably with those, characters probably ending off in these movies, and you're not going to see them anymore, probably.
You know what I would think would be really cool? What if Michael Keaton dies?
Huh. Good idea.
Like, what if his character dies and it's a misdirect? Obviously that wasn't the original plan for the ending you're talking about, because we did see behind the scene shots of like them taking over the DCU. But what if like in the new storyline his Batman dies?
It's funny you say that, because in the comics the Batman that's in that comic book series, which is, I think we missed a really, really cool opportunity to do this, is Thomas Wayne. That's the Batman in that comic book series.
You mean the father?
Yeah.
Oh, his father.
That's Bruce Wayne's father. Yeah. So Bruce Wayne's father is the Batman in the Flashpoint, and he does get, I think he gets like stabbed or dies or something like that in the comic. So good idea. That'd be kind of cool.
It depends. It can go many, many ways, but I truly think that's how it may end. I don't know. This movie can really, because if he's in fact talking to somebody at the end of this movie, right, and it's a completely different version of Bruce Wayne. What happened to Michael Keaton? Not only are you, really think about it, they start out with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne in the movie because he's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Somehow goes to Michael Keaton, right? Because there's scenes without him being Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, if it is someone brand new, it's like 3 different Bruce Waynes in one movie that you're like recycling through,
It's a valid point. So should we do the predictions on the cameos that we think are going to be?
Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
So I will go. So I believe Wonder Woman is in the movie.
Yes.
Mainly because Ben Affleck dropped the ball on it. And I know
he
that.
did.
Yeah, he did. He was saying that Wonder Woman apparently saves him in that car chase scene of him on the motorcycle and everything. And a lasso goes around him, and you hear a different version of his character, I guess, like more truth comes out of it. And that's when he said he knew how to play the character. And he's just like, oh, I got it. I know exactly what to do and everything.
It's crazy that you're saying that because I do remember Ben Affleck coming out in an interview saying, like, out of all my time playing Batman for, I guess, this short time, because thinking about it, he's been casted from all his casting point all the way to now. He's only been in how many movies as Batman?
It's been like 10 years. Isn't that depressing? He's barely been in
like
anything.
4 or 5 movies tops.
But Iron Man, for example, Iron Man was in so much of the MCU, and he was there for the same amount of time. It's depressing. Yeah. Who else do you think is going to be in there?
I know you and I discussed already Nicolas Cage.
I really hope that's true.
Which would be really interesting because I feel like it won't be given to us as an audience. I feel like it'll be one of those things where it's like you and I both know. Like, because we know the history. But many people are like, oh, Nicolas Cage is Superman. Like, it's not going to be like...
A lot of people don't know that he was almost Superman. That's actually
so it's going to be like, I think it's going to be a nice Easter egg for people who do know, but people who don't know...
I'll scream.
Yeah. I think it's going to pivot to where, like, it's not going to be like... They're not going to give a whole scene with Nicolas Cage saying, oh, yeah, this was the exact... maybe in a commentary at the end
Burton
of the movie.
was supposed to do that movie, so it does make sense for him to show up in the Burton universe. So that would be kind of cool.
And if you go back to... There's footage on YouTube. You go back to a deleted scene from Batman and Robin, the George Clooney Batman and Robin movie. There's a scene of them walking in the garden, and then George Clooney's Batman and his Bruce Wayne name drops Metropolis. So that indicates to me that being that it's Tim Burton's world originally, even though it wasn't Tim Burton's movie anymore, but it was in that same universe, that could have been a segue to Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, he also says, he's like, oh yeah, this is why Superman works alone.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
And they cut that from the final movie, but you could find deleted scenes of it on YouTube, which is pretty neat. It almost makes you think like, oh, what could have been? What if?
That would have been really
great.
Good. So we think of like what the overall story might be of everything.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's off of Flashpoint, a good amount of it, but it's going to be a big misdirect on everything, and it's still up in the air if Ezra Miller is going to continue to be the Flash.
Well, I heard
it's a big gray area.
I heard that they have no plans to
have him.
No, they have no plans not to have him. They want him in it.
Well, the director came out and said like, I don't see having a sequel without. So like, I'm not recasting. He might direct Brave and Bold.
I heard that. That would be really interesting.
It'd be cool
too. It would be. I'd be down for it. I'd really be down to see anybody direct the new Batman movies. I'm excited to see what the new Batman will look like.
I want a really, really, really comic accurate Batman.
What I want truly, and you may differ on this, but one of my favorite suits growing up was the light blue and the gray and the yellow.
I don't mind that.
I don't mind it if it's done right. I don't mind it, and the white eyes. White eyes.
Like Kevin Conroy's suit from like the animated series. The big. I'm fine with the emblem.
Yeah,
like
I could be fine with that too.
I want to see gray.
Yep.
And I'm fine with seeing the blue, honestly.
If
it's like the color of our great backdrop. If it's like a dark navy blue.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that too. Because people think in the Affleck suit is blue. That's our predictions on Flash
movie
and what we think of everything. I think it would be kind of cool if we predict what the overall final score of like the Rotten Tomatoes are going to be. Because have you looked recently?
I have looked. Yeah, I think personally, and that's just me.
Because people are calling this the best movie of all time, Tom Cruise.
I think that a lot of people are going to dislike it due to Ezra Miller in general. So you're not going to see a nice tomato score because it's going to be biased.
I think it's at like 70-ish right now.
Yeah, and it hasn't even come out yet worldwide. So I mean, those are critic reviews. A lot of people have seen early advanced screenings. Nick and I tried.
And you're right about it too. So they left out some parts probably in the movie too. It's not going to be the final thing too. So it's going to be up. I'm going to predict overall its score is going to be at least like an 80 something. At least an 80. Hopefully it goes up a little bit more.
Right.
Be like an 80.
Yeah.
Something.
I would say I probably agree with you. I'm honestly saying mid 70s. I'm not even just because I'm being realistic. Well, no,
thanks.
I'm not lowballing you. I'm just saying it's more of a. A lot of people are angry still with this.
Sure.
And being that they came out and said they're not planning to replace Future, you're giving people.
It could be like a boycotting situation.
It could be a boycotting situation. Like, this movie's great and we love what you're doing and where you're going, but still you have to face the consequences. And that's how, that's the world we live in, and I respect that to a degree.
I heard they're going to the premiere. A lot of the marketing that's going to be done through this movie is going to be, I heard Ben Affleck's doing a lot of the marketing for the movie, Michael Keaton, the Supergirl character, I think even Michael Shannon, like General Zod, he's going to be doing the marketing.
Isn't it crazy how he comes back and he's like now the main antagonist again after like, do you ever think back in 2013 when they premiered Man of Steel, he ever thought to himself, yeah, I'm going to be a part of the final chapter of the DCU?
No. I
never would have thought. I honestly, hand to God, I've never seen Man of Steel fully.
Really?
Never did.
I think you should see it before you see The Flash. I think you should watch it.
I will watch YouTube snippets and that's all I'll need. I did find it pretty cool how in Batman v Superman at the very beginning is literally a perspective of Bruce Wayne.
That is the smartest idea in that entire movie.
And then you see the final battle in Man of Steel from a different point of view up top happening from Bruce Wayne's perspective.
Apparently it's the same times too. Like if you see the thing that cuts through the buildings and everything, and it's Bruce Wayne outside the building when he's on the phone with that guy, and you see the building fall, you can line it up with scenes in there. It's identical.
I think the scene where he's literally running to the kid, the child, and the dust smoke just...
It's a great sequence.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic
sequence.
Great.
It really is.
Jack! Fantastic.
Yeah. It's great.
There's always good things that you could take out of those movies, despite, overall out movie. But there's a lot of positives you can take from it.
Yeah, I agree. Who knows, honestly? It's going to be a very interesting time. And the next week, we're going to see it, next Thursday.
What do you think the box office is going to be for the weekend?
Oh, they're estimating at least domestic for probably...
What are you thinking?
170?
170?
That's just it's not going to be 2, because I feel like 2 is just way too...
That's like Marvel numbers.
Yeah.
That's like...
I think this will be, Yeah, but from what I hear from the test screenings, the Reddit posts, I'm trying not to go down the rabbit hole of...
You're going to get spoiled if you do that.
I'm trying my best, Nick. I'm not perfect.
I think, as you said, it's going to be between maybe 125 to 175 as a weekend. I think that'll be like a nice box office weekend.
Yeah.
Overall out, I don't know what it'll make long term, because at the end of the day, it's still... DC movies, they're
not the best.
They just don't hit. Well, Batman made almost $800 million. So, I mean, that was something. Yeah. Almost. What was the newest DC movie that came out? Or was that really just Batman?
Shazam. I know.
Actually, all right, too. I think that was the one that came out after.
Fury of God. Lucy Liu.
Was there anything else that came out in between Batman and that one, or no?
Black Adam. That was the last movie. October. Yeah, because...
It was $300 million to make that movie.
Shazam 2... Didn't that come out in December?
Supposed to, but it came out in March.
When
I was commuting to work and everything,
it got pushed.
That's all I saw was that stupid billboard of him with the cape and the monster behind him. That's the only thing I saw, and it was like March 17th.
What? Being that we're on the topic now, I think because they're saying that the DCU characters prior, like Shazam, Aquaman, even Gal, who played Wonder Woman, they're all safe. What I think about it this way, we'll put it up too. The picture of Aquaman in his new black suit, he looks very different in the face.
I remember you talked to me about this.
What if they're all variants? They're going the Marvel route. Okay, they're not going to say variant, but what if the new timeline that's created, it's a different version of Aquaman, because the guy who created Aquaman, I think his name is James Wan. Is that?
Oh, the director, yes.
That's James Wan?
Yeah.
He did the Conjuring movies.
He did do the Conjuring movies. He's a big horror director. Yeah.
Fun fact about him, he never does trilogies. Remember him coming out and saying that?
You're right.
Yes. So he always does. He always stops at 2. He did the Conjuring 2. Conjuring 3 did not do, because he has a thing, I guess, with trilogies. He doesn't like doing trilogies. Okay. But he came out recently and said how Aquaman 2 is not really affected by the events of The Flash.
Maybe it just might be Westworld.
It was supposed to come out before the Flash movie. Remember that?
Yes, it was.
Do you remember that? Got pushed back indefinitely.
I hear horror stories of people watching that movie.
I heard they released so many cuts of this movie for test screenings. One with Michael Keaton's Batman. Okay.
Oh, really?
Did you hear? Okay, so
I know Ben Affleck was going to be in it. Yeah, there's a picture of them together. That's why.
Yeah, so that's a whole other thing too. So what happened was they released this movie, and they released the end credit scene to it also of Michael Keaton's Batman talking about events that Ben Affleck's Batman already did, and then Aquaman. Okay.
Oh, we got a headache already.
No, Jason Momoa's character was talking to this Batman as if he knew this Batman was. He was talking to him as if he went through the events of Justice League with him, right? So everyone left that theater with negative reviews saying, we don't understand why he would even know about Michael Keaton's Batman, because Michael Keaton's Batman...
Flash didn't come out yet.
So they redid, they shot the scene, they cut out all of Michael Keaton's stuff.
And put in Ben.
And then they released it again, and it got so-so ratings with no end credit scene. Okay. And they re-released it with Ben Affleck's Batman doing the same exact monologue as Michael Keaton's Batman.
So I guess it makes sense that
and
they
many
have to...
people understood that version. So, and I don't know now.
Oh, you know what? You're right, because they're going to completely erase Ben Affleck from
completely.
that. So he's not going to be an Aquaman.
No, and then they released another version of it in between then with no Ben Affleck, period.
But Amber Heard.
But Amber Heard, yeah, I know. It makes no sense to me how they're still endorsing that.
That's going to be big backlashes against everything, because that's like, it's not on par with the Ezra Miller situation, but like she is widely hated and disliked. Yeah. So it's going to mess up the marketing of the movie.
I agree. You know, but
don't release it at this point. Well, they put too much money into it. So
they did. They're going to definitely release it. I feel like they should release it maybe as streaming, but I don't know. Like we're obviously like we're going to go see it when it comes out. Whatever that may be. It's coming out in December of 2023.
Got pushed back so far.
It did. Same with frickin' what's the name? Wonka movie, the Willy Wonka movie. I know it's Warner Brothers I'm talking about.
They pushed
back everything toward the end of this year, beginning of next year. So I mean, like it really has been such a year of critique. I feel like they're critiquing a lot of their stuff, and a lot of it may not be making
the
cut for you know. Aquaman 2, I heard too that he had a lot of creativity with the story, Jason Momoa, and it's basically him going up against like Mother Nature or like the what do you call it, the ice. Did you hear? I thought he was joking, but apparently that's
You're
true.
Right.
The storyline is global warming. That's the villain. And
because he's big on that too. He's big with the environments and his water and everything. Like he doesn't like plastic and stuff. You ever see his commercials?
Yeah.
Like, he has his little things. And great.
Yeah.
Great. You did great with Fast X. You'll do great with this.
I mean, listen, with all I don't know. There's so many other villains I feel like that Aquaman go up against. You know, Black Manta was.
I heard Black Manta might.
I heard he's in it with a brand new suit also.
More comic accurate. I like that big ass helmet.
Oh, me too. He looks phenomenal.
I love it. I love it. I mean, there was a lot of stuff at the end of Aquaman that they could build off of. Let me talk about these things for hours, but that's what we wanted to do. So that is the end of episode 6. Those were some fun horror stories on Justin and his drug use and what.
Big Pharma don't get me.
And what we think is going to happen in the Flash movie. And Justin is almost done editing the polls that we finished.
Coming soon, guys. Wait for that. That's fun. That's going to be really
fun one.
That is fun. We have a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot more of those in the future, so stay tuned for that. I really had watching it over again too, the polls. It's been really it's fun.
It's been good?
It's been fun. Awesome. It's very interesting to see people's reaction to the polls and then our reactions. And yeah.
It's a good idea.
It's funny. It's good. It's going to be fun when it comes out. So, very, very soon.
Wrapping up episode 6.
Wrapping up